Hello folks, welcome to Things Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professionalism for today's items only. The amounts I'm going to talk today would be TH. First, I want to say happy Monday, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend, by the way. Respect to recording time of 9:29 a.m. on the Eastern Time. Ethereum current trade $4,252, down about 0.22% so far. On the overall crypto market, you could see that selectively, we have some altcoin that are driven microly by its own specific affectation, which is translating to Solana up about 4.17%, while Shiba Inu is up about 3.5% right now. But in the I would say collectively on the weighted average perspective for the crypto market, we're relatively leaning more towards a downward trend to a non-active type of day so far, right? Obviously, it's still early in the morning. But on the equity side, you could see that clearly we are green across the entire equity market, right? Seems like we're rebounding from the sell-off that we've had on Thursday and Friday, ever since the inflationary news that we've heard from the Monday news on, obviously, the Joe Biden's passing of the infrastructure bill. We subsequently drove some, rally, but subsequently normalizes as the second half of the week durates, right? And it's kind of like the the peak that we had on Wednesday and will subsequently slide back down to normalize as people take some profit. Partially due to some of the news around the inflationary pressure, but partially due to the fact of the anti-correlation effects from crypto, but partially due to the fact of just people taking profit because of the weekend affectation. So as you can see that clearly this morning on the crypto side, we're still relatively, for the key coins that we always talk about with Bitcoin and Ethereum is still kind of active at the moment, still pending on what's the next momentum. Do we go up or do we go down from here, right? So let's triangulate that a little bit with the news that we are collecting for the last 6 hours so far. And I'll say the news is relatively active in this early Monday morning. It makes sense, right? Monday, they play, the media front on the publication side, they're playing catch up with respect to the lack thereof that was, percolated during this weekend. So let's just take a look at the news front on a chronological order. With respect to the first one on Bazinga about 15 minutes ago, with respect to Ken Griffin, which is the CEO of Citadel Securities, he was recorded to be paid $43.2 million to acquired the first edition of the original U.S. constitutional copy of an NFT, right? Which we have heard, I would say a couple of days ago. And this is one of the largest investments, a single investment in an NFT, arts creation, stem from the NFT platform, stem from the proposition of NFT, obviously. It seems like there are, in addition to just like mainly celebrities or wealthy individuals, there are some institutional buying activities around NFT as well, which is something we appreciate because of the direct correlation to the proposition of Ethereum, which should subsequently translate into more buying pressure for Ethereum going forward, which translates into an escalation and price level going forward, right? And next one up is on CNBC 1 hour ago, talk about crypto startup MoonPay just hit a $3.4 billion in valuations. A Bitcoin fever reaches a new height. Great for the founder. I think his name is Ivan something. I don't know his last name specifically, but seems like there are a lot of money being thrown, especially on the venture capital side, at these crypto startups. A 3.4 billion valuation is still relatively, it's not a small amount, but it's not like huge. But it's great that they were able to raise a specific amount of money into appreciating their enterprise value, right? Which means that there are a lot of VC backing onto the crypto asset class going forward. And then the next one is on Cointelegraph, and this is a technical news. Basically, what they're saying is that Ethereum is currently forming a cup and handle pattern. And with this cup and handle pattern, what they're seeing or foreshadowing is that with the Fibonacci levels that they will technically project out, if we are confirming a rebound, technically there will be close to about a 60% surge from here to a $6,500 in price target in the next surge coming, which I guess that's something we have to watch out for to see if this makes sense. So we'll dive into the technicals in a bit to see if this makes any sense. And then the next one is talking about Bazinga. Bazinga is, there are two news that talks about the recent activities, right? One is basically on 10 hours ago, with respect to Avalanche may be battling Dogecoin and Shiba Inu over market cap, but it's pickle with Ethereum. So this is basically talking about some of the corporate adoptions and utilization and buying activities among these three specific cryptocurrencies: Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, and obviously Ethereum. I don't know if it quite makes sense to compare the three of them because they all have different proposition, they all have different momentum, and they all trade in a different style. But they all within crypto class, obviously, but not sure why they lump them together. But we know that some of the activities among the board directors for Ethereum and Dogecoin, there's some connective tissues there, but not sure about Shiba Inu. So I feel like they just try to lump things together in a more of a juxtaposition news to depict on what their thought or perspective is around these three crypto assets. The next one's on Bazinga about 12 hours ago again, with respect to Bitcoin dips excites investors. Traders see Ethereum heading to $10,000 and Dogecoin and Shiba Inu struggle. So this is another news talking about with respect to the technical analysis, which we'll dive into in a bit. And then some of these other news are not really worth mentioning. It's like one news is talk about if you invest $1,000 a year ago, how much Ethereum would it be worth right now? So nothing really. We can clearly see how Ethereum has been surging so far in the last 1 year just based on historical performance. So let's take a look at the news. Look at the technical right now. So with respect to the Ethereum right now, we're down about 0.20% right now. We're still leaning more towards a non-active type of momentum. And right now you can see clearly the equity side is relatively green, rebounding from the subsequent sell-off that we've had, that we derated on, again, right, Thursday and Friday because of just some profit taking among public investors and corporate investors as we headed to the weekend, obviously just passed. So right now Ethereum is at the, I would say, neutral level. We're not like super overbought or super oversold. But right now, the big question is really, are we in the cup and handle momentum or are we in the head and shoulder momentum? It seems like this is a head, right? This is a shoulder, and this is another shoulder. And it seems like this looks more like a head and shoulder pattern than a cup and handle. But I hope I'm completely incorrect, right? Because this could technically be a cup and handle, but nothing is really confirmatory yet because this pattern has only been formed for less than a month. Maybe the last 22 days so far, right? So it's something we have to like kind of look into and observe going forward. But ultimately, we do not predict the future based on, we don't know how institutional buying activity is going to look like going forward, nor the momentum will look like going forward. But we can tell by the risk management level. So ideally, again, right, the 3,850, 3,475 would be still the level that I would ideally dollar cost average at. And I think as we confirm the sell-off down here, I will start incurring risk right here. And then, and I think from there, we should technically be relatively depleted on our side front. And that would incentivize a rally coming. So 6,500 can be logical if we were to test this again and then rally from there. With respect to Bitcoin, we're still in the bearish state, 43 out of 70. And again, right, buying somewhere around as the first level at the 53 to the 48 would be still the frame of reference, comparable to this frame of reference that we see in Ethereum to be dollar cost averaging at. Dogecoin, again, right, with respect to the 23 cents to the 1950 would be still the frame of reference for us to dollar cost average at. We are relatively okay with a depleted level of 38.70, so it's not terrible right now in terms of incurring some risk at the moment. Cardano is a good buying opportunity right now. We're basically contemplating to go down to, again, to the 170, which I think is the dip. We are at the 30-something level, right? I think 38, right? Around there. So we're basically debating, do we go down further to the 145, which I don't think will be likely because of the fact that this is a relatively large gap that, you know, we have some consolidation level of the 170, which makes sense why we reversed it. But like right now, we're relatively depleted now, so I don't foresee us to actually go down further. So I think right now is a good time to incur some risk. So Cardano's not a terrible buy right now. Solana right now is driven by its own micro driven factors, specifically stem from Solana's news. So right now with the 51 out of 70, again, right, buy somewhere around as we deplete back to more of a normal level, 130 to 113 would be much more logical. XRP right now is a buy, I would say, because of the fact that we basically contemplate to go 101 to 110. And I think right now we're at the 41 out of 70, which is not terrible. So 105, again, is the moderate level for us to incur risk, right? Obviously, if you got into 102, which is some people did, if you could see clearly on the red candle, the mini one, and something got bought up immediately. So I think XRP is actually a buy at the moment as well in terms of the current risk management setup. Polkadot down 1.34%, 41 out of 70. I think right now, incurring risk around like the 33 to the 25 is still the level that will ideally dollar cost average at the moment. Algorand, again, right, 160 to 152. Right now, it's not terrible because we are like at the neutral level, but I think 130 to 160 to 152 is still the better level for us to dollar cost average at. Shiba Inu, I think right now we're still at the mid level, so I think ideally wait for us to cool back down to the 2.7 or 2.8 at least to the 900 is still the frame of reference that I would ideally dollar cost average at for Shiba Inu. So respect to risk management level, these are levels that again, right, we have laid out here for the respective coins, and I think you know, rather this is a cup and handle or you know, a head and shoulder pattern. That's something we have to observe over time. I hope that is a head and shoulder, to be honest, because that will allow us to incur more opportunity to dollar cost average, so we can build up the position from here, right? But if it's a cup and handle, that means like, you know, 6,500 is coming. Here we come. But right now it's still non-confirmatory. You know, I don't really see a clear, definitive setup that we're seeing right now. We are at the neutral level, so the risk is okay. So if you want to buy now, it's not terrible across the market. So, you know, definitely way better than, you know, a week ago or days ago, right? When we were running really hot on the scale of 70 out of 70 on the RSI scale, right? So this is like the chart that we have identified here as we deplete to below 35 on RSI scale, and as we deplete back to a preliminary golden cross for the technical setup, right? And that's the ideal level that you logically want to incur risk, right? So hopefully this is helpful. Really appreciate it for this Monday morning, and stay tuned for the club. Take care.